I make over $60,000 a month selling other people's products on Amazon. And I built this entire business with $1,000 while I was still working at McDonald's. And the only reason I was able to do this is because years of jumping from dead-end job to dead-end job taught me exactly what happens when you have zero leverage and zero system. So when I finally found the one business model that gives you both, from day one, I already knew every reason why everything else fails. I've now done over 7 figures in revenue on Amazon and personally helped more than 500 clients start from zero and build profitable stores using the exact same model. And in this video, I'm going to show you the exact system that got me here and the same system that's helped over 500 people start from scratch and build profitable Amazon stores. So you can follow it step by step and do it for yourself without spending thousands of dollars. And the reason that the system works on a small budget is that a small budget is all I had when I started building it 3 years ago. I was jumping between dead-end jobs like McDonald's, restaurants, car dealerships, and door-to-door solar, making 2, maybe 3 grand a month and working every hour to get it. And I already had burned through every single business model I could find, like Shopify, Etsy, eBay, and stock trading. But the one thing I kept coming back to was Amazon because the opportunity was obviously there. The problem was that every way people were teaching you to sell on Amazon was completely broken, and I had to learn that the hard way. The first thing I tried was private label, where you create your own product from a factory in China or Alibaba, AliExpress. You put your brand on it, you build a listing from scratch and spend thousands on ads, hoping that someone buys it. So I scraped together what I had, found a supplier on Alibaba, placed my first order. The product quality was terrible. I started getting counterfeit complaints, my account got flagged, and I realized I just burned through my savings on a business model that needed $50,000 to even do properly. So I moved on to Arbitrage, where you physically drive through retail stores like Target and Walmart. You walk the aisles and scan every item on the shelf, looking for something you can resell on Amazon for a profit. The margins were maybe 4%. I was spending entire days in stores scanning products, and the whole thing violates Amazon seller policies. The employees are like, what are you doing here all day? Which means your business lasts exactly until Amazon catches you. So both models were a dead end to me, and I was running out of money and patience. But here's what I started noticing. The products that were actually selling consistently on Amazon month after month were name brand products that people already knew and trusted. So they didn't need ads or new listings because the demand was already there. The only question was, how do I get access to those products at a price where the math works and makes sense? And that's when I found Wholesale, where instead of creating products from scratch, you're buying proven name brand products directly from authorized distributors right here in the US. Products that people already know and buy every single day. The listings are already on Amazon with thousands of reviews and verified sales data. So all you're doing is sourcing the product at the right price and shipping it into Amazon warehouses. And once I understood that, I realized that this could actually scale into a real business if you build the right system around it. So I built one, and this is the same system that took me from $1,000 to over $60,000 a month. And it all starts with the foundation, which is your business setup, where you need an LLC, which is your legal business entity. You need an EIN, which is your business tax ID from the IRS, where you do your business taxes. And then you need a reseller's permit, which is important because it's what allows you to buy inventory at wholesale prices without paying sales tax on it. And that permit is your ticket to wholesale pricing, opening wholesale accounts. Because without it, no legitimate distributor will sell to you. Then you set up your Amazon Seller Central account and a business bank account for Amazon to deposit your revenue into. And when I did all of this, I was still working at a car dealership during the day, and I did the LLC online in about 20 minutes. The EIN took 5 minutes on the IRS website, and the reseller's permit depends on your state, but most of them you can file online in a day. It took me about a week doing it after work, and that week of setup is what opened the door to everything that came after. But this is where the real skill starts, because having the business set up is one thing. It really doesn't mean anything if you can't get suppliers to work with you. So once my business was registered, I started reaching out to authorized distributors, which are US-based companies that buy products directly from the brands and sell them to retailers at wholesale pricing. And they carry hundreds, sometimes thousands of name brand products across categories like electronics, kitchen, toys, health, beauty, sports, pet products, and more. And your job is to find these distributors, contact them, send over your business documentation, and apply to open a wholesale account. And this is where most people give up, because the first few times you reach out, you're going to get ignored or rejected, which is normal. It's completely normal. You wouldn't apply to your first ever job and expect to be the CEO by Friday. So don't expect your first couple of outreaches to be a yes. Just get the reps in. This is also something I see with my clients, because one of them got rejected 3 times by a distributor, and he really wanted to get the wholesale account. And when I looked at his outreach, it said something like, I'm trying to start an Amazon business. So we changed one line and repositioned him as a registered retail business, and he was approved in 48 hours. And the only thing that changed was the tone. That's the difference between someone who makes this work and someone who quits thinking the doors are closed. And once you get that first approval, the second one comes easier, then the third, then the fourth. And then you start getting inbound from distributors who want your business. One of my clients started with 1 supplier and 5 products, and within 90 days, he had 3 suppliers and 47 products with the same amount of time invested, just more relationships and more inventory. But getting approved is only half the equation, because if you pick the wrong products, it doesn't matter how many suppliers you have. And this is where product research comes in, which is where most people either win or lose at wholesale. When you're approved with a distributor, they send you their full catalog, okay, which could be like 500 products or 5,000. And your job is to go through that catalog and find the specific products where the numbers work. And when I say the numbers, I mean 3 things, okay? First, proven demand, where you want products that are already selling consistently on Amazon, not products that sold well 1 month and went flat. And then there is software that shows you exactly how many units a product moves per month and what the sales history looks like over the last 30, 60, 90 days, so on and so forth. So you want to see steady movement, not spikes. The second thing is going to be healthy margins, where you take selling price on Amazon, the selling price on Amazon, subtract the 15% referral fee that Amazon charges, subtract your FBA fees, which are usually around $2 to $4, depending on the size and weight of the product, and subtract your wholesale costs. And whatever is left is your profit per unit. So I look for at least $2 to $3 net profit per unit minimum, and ideally 15% profit margins or higher. And third thing is going to be manageable competition, where you check how many other sellers are on that listing, because if there's only 3 or 4, that's great. But if there's 30, you're probably going to have a harder time winning the buy box, which is what you need to get sales. Although even with 20 sellers, you might be only competing with 2 or 3 who actually have competitive pricing and solid seller metrics, since Amazon rotates the buy box between qualified sellers all day long. So you don't need to be the only one, you just need to be the one of the good ones. For example, let's say you find something that sells for $25 on Amazon, and Amazon takes their 15% fee, which is $3.75. FBA fees are about $2. Your wholesale cost is $17, which leaves $2.25 profit per unit. If that product moves 30 units a week, that's about $67 a week from one product. And when you multiply that across 20 or 30 products, you're looking at $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month, even from small orders. And just imagine what those numbers look like when you're running 50, 60, 70 products at the same time. And by the way, if you want help mapping that out for your specific situation, there's a link in the description where you can book a free call with me, and we'll get on and we'll map out exactly how to get started based on your specific situation. Now, here's where things get really interesting, because once you have the foundation, the suppliers, and the product research dialed in, scaling this business is just doing more of what already works and what you already know. You find more winning products, build relationships with more suppliers, and keep shipping inventory into Amazon, and the whole thing compounds, because as you sell, Amazon increases your inventory limits so you can send in more product while your supplier relationships grow. which opens up better pricing and access to more SKUs. So every month, the business gets stronger without you working any harder. The relationship piece is something people really underestimate, because when you're a new account with a distributor, you're buying small test orders at their standard pricing, but when you pay on time, communicate well, and reorder consistently, things start to change. One of my students started with small $700 orders from one distributor, and after 3 months of consistent ordering and on-time payments, they gave him a net 30 terms, which means he had 30 days to pay instead of paying upfront. After 6 months, they gave him access to new product lines before other accounts, and after 9 months, 5% better pricing on his top SKUs, which added $1,800 a month in profit from a single relationship. So he was doing the same work, but making better margins just because he treated the relationship like it mattered. That's exactly what happened in my own business too, and it's how I went from $1,000 start to 5-figure months. Then I started having days where I was pulling in $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 with $13,000 invoices and $26,000 invoices. I got approved by brands like SteelSeries, Keurig, and Logitech, and scaled all the way to over $60,000 a month, running the entire thing from my laptop from anywhere in the world. And the thing that made this possible is that the system doesn't change as you scale, because the process at 60,000 a month is the same process I used at 2,000 a month, which is find winning products, source them from authorized suppliers, ship them to the Amazon warehouses, and let Amazon handle the rest, while the only thing that changes is the volume. Now, I didn't keep this system to myself, because as I was documenting my journey, people started reaching out to me, asking me to teach them, and the results speak for themselves. That's how Cody went from nothing to $100,000 in sales in 60 days. That's how Brian went from selling books out of a warehouse full of pallets to doing $1 million in a single year with Wholesale. And now Sergio did $5,000 in a single day. He did $16,000 in 2 days, actually. After personally mentoring over 500 people, I realized that every single one of them followed the same system I just showed you, but their starting points looked different depending on their budget, their situation, and how much time they had. So if you want to see exactly how this would work for you, I'll leave a link in the description where you can book a free call with me to go over your exact situation and figure out what your next steps need to be to start generating passive income with Amazon FBA as soon as possible. So go below, book a call, and I'll see you there.